and I know your nature because whenever you are in a conversation, you deeply engage with that person. You completely forget about everything.
I kind of do. You're right. You caught me on that. All right.
Today,
Go on. Go on.
I'm saying like, how's your day going?
Oh, I, sorry, I can't. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. For some reason, my voice is breaking and echoing to me. So I'm kind of confused, but okay. All right. Yeah, my day was great. I went to the gym and then I went for this meeting actually. This weekend I'm holding a creative writing workshop. So I'm quite excited about that. Yeah, that's about it. And then I started classes. Don't have anything else to say. What about you? What did you do today?
Nothing actually before you. I have had one session
Mhm.
and now I'm having a session with you. So it's like it's going on the same flow, nothing special as usual. So what is that? Like I'm very curious to know is writing, uh, creating something like that you have mentioned that. Could
Yeah,
you please explain it?
of course. So I'm holding a creative writing workshop. So creative writing is a lot to do with imagination and a lot to do with poetic writing, descriptive writing, coming up with stories and narratives and stuff like that. So yeah, actually, more than creative writing, which is more like storytelling, right? I'm going to be I guess focusing on different kinds of writing, not just creative writing and descriptive writing, which I really love. Like I remember falling in love with creative descriptive writing when I was in junior school. And they had this phrase on the board, like big bold letters, show, don't tell. And it was about how you need to show what you're feeling and show what's happening, never tell someone what's happening. So for example, instead of saying, oh, she was so angry, you say, oh, they were seeing red and they were fuming, there was smoke coming out of their ears, and it makes it so much more animated, and I guess that's why I'm so dramatic. But I remember being so fascinated with that kind of writing, even though it's very simple now that I say it like that. But yeah, and not just that, we're also going to give prompts like write about your role models, or write in the perspective of a robot. And then we're going to write about like what does a medical store smell like, write a whole poem about that, you know stuff like that. And also postcards, we want to write postcards to I don't know. I don't think children have written postcards in a long time, but I want them to write postcards to people they won't be able to send it to, maybe, you know? So
Okay.
having the freedom to say anything to someone. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and photographs as well.
That person would be like anonymous, like when the person say to you something in a postcard, so that person is going to mention their name and you know that person is sending you postcard, or it's like anonymous postcard
Uh,
you receive.
Not anonymous, but you're not going to send it either. So it's just like a creative writing and descriptive writing, but it's going to be like if you could say anything to this one person, what would you say? So if there's maybe a secret you're holding from your mother, like if you've ever been, this is kind of dark, but if you've ever been abused, or if you've ever been taken advantage of and you couldn't share it with your parents, that's a lot of ache and a lot of pain that you have to keep inside. So maybe if you could write a postcard to your mom, confessing like, okay, this happened and it was really bad, and I really miss you and I wish I could tell you, so yeah, we're really diving into the emotions there.
Oh my God, like
There's
it's
also fun things, I swear. um, like I remember in junior school we did this activity where you would describe something and write about something in the shape of it. So if I'm writing about an ice cream, I write it in the shape of an ice cream. I like write the words in the shape of a scoop and then in the shape of a cone or something like that. So
okay.
those will definitely be fun with the kids. Yeah.
Uh-huh. How anyone can, build a habit of this descriptive writing? Because, like, take example, imagine the person who's completely, what I can say, new in a writing, and they don't have a, single interest. Like when they sit for writing, they can't even barely write a one page. Okay, so for them, as a teacher, being a teacher, how would you, what I can say, convince them or influence for a writing?
Yeah.
What is strategy?
So, I mean, this is what I say with children, and maybe it'll sound silly to an adult, but what I ask them is like, what are the five senses? Okay, what you can see, what you can hear, what you can smell, what you can taste, what you can touch, right? Textures. So I started off that way, and then I go, so describe this notebook as what you're seeing. Okay, it's a red color notebook. It has 2025 on it. Okay, it's thick. It has 365 pages. And then how does it feel? It feels thick. It feels like velvet, maybe. And the pages are sharp and I could get cut, all these little things. That's a great, way to start. I don't want to taste that book right now, so I'm not going to go there. But it smells like paper, I guess. Um, but start slow like that, and then I get into the specifics, like, okay, if it's textured rough, how would you describe that? Like a stone, like a cement wall? Is it rough like wood and smooth like wood? So all these different textures are great, tastes are great. I love describing food with my kids, like, because they get excited. So then they go, oh, ice cream, creamy, cold, sweet, or when describing chaat or manchuri or something like that, they get really expressive. So food is a good place to start for sure. It sparks.
So it's overall we have to use our five senses which we can see and like feel it and smell it, and that way we can describing, and that's the things we can write it down in paper. Okay.
Definitely. You get down to the specifics that way. I think it's very difficult when you have to describe something and then that's the full question, especially for kids and beginners. I think it's great when you can specify, like, okay, what all can you touch right now? And does it taste salty or does it taste sour? Those little distinctions, those little differences there make a big impact. You need to make the reader feel like you are there with them, tasting the same thing or seeing the same building. Yeah.
Right. Hmm. That's good. I'll try that actually, because I'm very, what I can say, static with writing. Whenever I sit for writing, I couldn't clear with that more than a half page. So I will definitely try this strategy which you have mentioned
And
that.
you're studying English literature, right? Did you
Mhm.
study Wordsworth? uh
Mhm.
Wordsworth, he has this poem called Nutting.
Static, okay.
It's a
Uh,
funny name, but no, it's a really great poem about his childhood. And he's written this maybe on the onset of industrialization and stuff like that. So he's looking back at his life and he thinks about this one time he went maybe for hazelnuts or something. He went into the woods, um, and he came across this beautiful, beautiful scenery in the forest. And I think the difference between descriptive writing and creative writing really comes in here. So if you want to describe that forest, you'd go the greenery, sure. Maybe you see dewdrops on the leaves, right? So that's really specific. So you get down to it that way. But with creative writing, you really have to get into these metaphors and get into these little similes and hyperboles as well. So he goes, I came across this virgin scene. So virgin as like this very pure, unaltered, or like, never been touched before. So this scenery is that pure. No one has been here before. How exciting is that? That I get to see these trees first. And then he describes the water not as glittering with like the sun reflecting. Those are all descriptive terms. He calls it fairy water. He calls it fairy water as like something so magical. And I think that's such a that I think that would be a good way of looking at creative writing and descriptive writing, you know? Yeah.
Which one do you like most, ma'am?
I am definitely a descriptive writing girl. I'm not patient enough for creative writing, but I think with poetry, you kind of have to have your toes dipped in both. But yeah, it's really fun. It's a deep process. It's this introspective process where, I don't know, when you see rain, you should be able to remember the time your father cried, you know? Like, I find it so, like, when you see a beehive, you should see aunties gossiping in the kitchen, you know? Like, I think those are great ways to look at it, like what the noise reminds you of or something. Yeah.
Uh, but I understood descriptive writing is somewhere is easy to do because you have to just describe the things, object, and whatever you can see, right, and feel it. But when it's come to creativity, it's going to take a lot of time to write a page also.
Yeah.
It's a lot of brainstorming and new ideas and how creative you are. So, hmm.
I think that's why a lot of people really like these classics, as they say. I think I don't like it when people say classics is a genre, because classic just means that it's an old book. You know, like Frankenstein is the genre of goth and horror and stuff like that. Little Women is a different genre entirely, but they are both old, so we call them classics. You know, um, but I think classics had a way with creativity that isn't really there anymore, at least to my knowledge, my very humble knowledge. I think now we are more descriptive, now we are more confessional, we're more emotional with our words, you know, with the modern literature, contemporary literature, with confessional poetry, especially with, I mean, I love confessional poetry. I love Sylvia Plath, Anne Sexton, Robert Lowell. But they really get down to the grittiness of it. Sometimes their work is creative as well, like when Sylvia Plath talks about how a baby's cry echoes into the wall and like builds like smoke on the wall, or she during her divorce with her husband. I don't think she was actually divorced, was she? But during that little separation or something, she talks about how she would look at a picture of her husband and her child, and their smiles would turn into hooks that would tear her smile apart. You know, like that kind of creativity in very real pain, like not imaginary, you know, you would expect creative writing to be imaginary, but it's more about imagining the daily everyday things in very grand
Yeah.
profound ways, if that makes any sense.
Oh my God, like it's not easy to do that. Imagine describing one is a okay, like anyone can try it and they can do it. Like, but creating, oh my God, like it's not my
Yeah,
cup of tea. I don't know
yeah.
you.
Descriptive writing is very analyzing, like observing. Like you have to sit in one place for an hour or two, and you'll have 3 pages about how a leaf is moving in the air, right? But in creativity, you have to say, okay, maybe the leaf is dancing. Maybe it's talking to the plant next to it. You know, yeah, you have to get down to like, it's not just what you're seeing, but what you're perceiving, if that, I don't know if that works, but yeah.
Hmm. It's
I
quite
feel like
challenging.
I'm talking so much. I'm so sorry.
No. It's not like you're talking. Actually, the way you explaining the things is correct. Actually, like I really liked it seriously because the first time I got to know the difference between creative and descriptive writing, like describing writing and all. So it's amazing the way you describe it.
Thank
and
you.
many people are going to learn from this video. So it's not like you talk too much.
Okay, good. I feel like you, although, will have to sleep after this because you're like, that girl talks so much. Something
Oh.
like that. Okay. Well, I'm glad.
How's the weather? Because I can see like you are wearing a
Yeah, I will say it is for modesty reasons. I'm so-
okay, okay, okay. That's the reason. Okay. Otherwise, you all the time say you love wearing a sweet sauce and a jacket as well, right?
Yeah, I do like that. I was actually just talking about that with someone else. What the hell? Okay, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I love layering. I love wearing the shawl and the scarf. Um, I don't know why. It's just really fun to me.
You should go. Actually, you should, must visit like the places where we can see the extreme winter, right? Uh, in India itself, there are many places, right? Like take example of in winters, go to Uttarakhand.
Yeah.
Definitely going to find like extreme winter where you can layer yourself with the 4 or 5 jackets,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, Bangalore is moody, but definitely not as moody as the north. And I feel like the weather here is just like, okay, at night it will rain, so it'll be a little cold in the morning, and then it's just sun until it's night suddenly out of nowhere. But yeah,
It's happened. Bangalore weather is like unpredictable.
yeah,
It's like it's good. It's good. That's why people like weather,
yeah,
especially Bangalore people. Like they love Bangalore weather, right?
definitely. Even when it's bad, we just need to romanticize it and be right in the arguments. We're like, yeah, it's great, something like that. Sorry, I have another session now, so I'll have to leave. But it
Yeah,
was
there was
really nice talking to you. Thank
same. And actually, likewise, I really enjoyed our conversation every time. It's not like the
Yeah,
first time.
honestly, I really liked talking, and I think I spoke too much, but I did have a lot of fun, and you have great questions right now. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye. Take care.
Bye.